All right, this is Stitch and Adams talking about the wokeness of Marvel movies.
Okay.
Well, they're reacting to my man Sam Cedar. Okay. Wait.
How are the movies not an example of wokeness?
I can't take it anymore. So how are these people so...
These guys are so stupid.
Movies are... But you need to have characters that people like to watch. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
All right.
That the reason why Disney puts out these things is to have a cultural revolution is absurd.
Yeah.
These movies are the antithesis of anything of like left-wing culture or
Yes.
whatnot.
Including Black Panther.
Like
Of
this
any
is
culture,
just
to
a
be honest with you.
massive money grab.
Yep.
And the idea that this is, if there was such a thing of cultural Marxism, the idea that this would be it is just absurd.
It failed.
This is just like, and then like that.
I can't take it anymore. So how are these people so delusional?
Yeah.
What are we watching here?
Well, it's funny because he provides zero, there's no argument there. He just says it's not an example, like these movies are not an example of cultural Marxism or wokeness. It's like, well, but what's your argument? How are the movies not an example of wokeness?
Okay, I think I just named one with the X-Men. Also, cultural Marxism is an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, so I'm not even going to address that.
Right.
And wokeness, I'm not going to be a dick about this. He means just left wing. All right, okay. So I always notice this. I am a James Bond fan, especially the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. So
I just went in on him just only because I found out why he stopped being James Bond.
Why?
And it put everything.
Because he's old?
No. He basically said he wrote it into the contract that he'll do X amount of movies, or he's done being James Bond now, but the only way he's gonna stop is if in the movie he
dies.
He dies.
Yeah, that made me mad. That's
and it's rewritten everything for me. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, and I'm not saying it was
4
bad,
out of those 5 are in my
good.
top 4 James Bond movies.
Movies were good. Like I love.
Then Goldfinger.
Yeah, and
No Time to Die is not the one because you don't kill James Bond. That was I think that crossed the line.
Yeah.
I like that they did a lot of cool shit.
that was just enough for me to be like, I know it's dramatic, but you said you've had moments like that too. That's enough for me to be like, fuck Daniel Craig.
Yeah,
like that is enough. For me.
I didn't know that was his idea.
Yeah, no, he made it so.
Well, I just think that it's not just him. It's the way the films were made and the way the character was realized and how
No, he insisted.
They made a serious. It stopped being a joke.
Yeah,
it's the first time James Bond wasn't a joke. So, anyways, a Bond villain in that Tony Stark would be a typical Bond villain.
Okay, I can see that.
Okay, but in a Marvel movie, Tony Stark is a hero. You go watch Iron Man 2. I like Iron Man 2. I love Mickey Rourke. Big Mickey Rourke guy.
That's about where I stopped watching Iron Man. Like, I've seen bits and pieces of the other movies, but that was about it as far as me going to the theater and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a line in that movie. He literally goes, "I've privatized world peace." That's number 1. Number 2, there's a scene where Pepper, he goes into Gwyneth Paltrow's office, right? Right? They're in Gwyneth Paltrow's office, and if you notice this, everybody points out the Elon Musk cameo. That says a lot right there. But this also says something. They go into Pepper's office, and on the TV is Bill O'Reilly. But it's not just Bill O'Reilly. It's Bill O'Reilly being played in the daytime, which means Pepper Potts. Is that her name?
I forget exactly.
That's some
what
silly
it
name,
is.
some silly porno name like that.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow's character TiVo'd that shit. She DVR'd that shit so she could watch it in the afternoon.
That's funny.
Those movies are far from... I mean, you could go watch... There's tons of video essays about how Marvel movies maintain... Let me put it this way. If they're so woke, why don't they go down and protect Rafa?
It's... The people... I'm trying not to... Like you said, I'm trying not to get stuck on the word. Like, even the Black Panther movies, for example. Okay, these movies are not woke. You have an entire nation that is, like...
coordinating with like, American intelligence agencies?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, So even with all the world's wealth and resources, you still have to have some wacky white liaison. But like, you know what I mean? Who didn't do shit for most of the movie. They had to fix him, like black people do in every fucking movie, and be like, "Oh, let's protect him." And then he's just at the last minute, he's like, "Let me help you guys protect your culture."
Yeah, I heard
like,
they're making another Black Panther sequel where Black Panther draws a map for the FBI to show them where Fred Hampton is sleeping.
Yeah, that's funny. But if you look into the comics, that's also a part of the turmoil in Wakanda, where it's just like, "Hey, T'Challa, this is great. This is awesome. You got, Wakanda forever." At the same time, you're selling us out, man. Like, you're just like, he's basically painted as like Boule, like entirely on like a world stage. I'm just like, you're protecting this shit. But it's more comics versus what they put into the movies and shit, because kids are watching this shit, and so if it's not entertaining to them, they're not even necessarily gonna absorb.
Which is what Bob Iger said.
Yeah,
he says something about Bob. I read Bob Iger's book.
Well, as someone who's actually read Bob Iger's book, I can guarantee you 1,000% that he's doing it for social justice reasons.
I can, as a guy who just read an interview with him, I can guarantee you he's doing it for money.
Right.
Because he said the number one goal of any of these movies that he said most of these people don't know what the word woke means,
right?
Which they don't, because clearly it doesn't. And he says that we're doing this. This is entertainment. That's it.
Right.
That's all it is. And they're far from. Oh God, Civil War. I saw that one. Holy shit. Captain America was a hero of the New Deal. So Captain America, for all intents and purposes, is a socialist.
Yeah, makes sense.
He's literally a product of FDR's funding. And yet, in that Civil War movie, they just turned him into a libertarian. That whole movie is about libertarianism. And of course, they use their libertarian freedom. They want to have the freedom to go trash a $1 billion airport over some petty grievance they have with each other.
In costume.
Yes, which
in
their silly little unnecessary costumes.
Yeah. And just tell people they have to register and all of this other shit. Like, I mean, I don't mind. I won't even talk about me. I don't think that anyone should mind the actual commentary. Like, these stories do have to have some kind of relatability for somebody to sit here and just watch it. Not everything is gonna be fantasy. Even Harry Potter, the biggest fantasy thing there is as far as the money grab of it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, this is Jesus with a wand. Like at the end of the day, that's what all of these books are leading up to. Like, you have to have some kind of backbone. Like, there are stories that are just inherent to what people find. Like, I know people say, "Oh, we do so much remaking and spin it to this and spin it to that." It's just like, I mean, the certain part of this is the species.
All right.